Well, it's unfortunate, but even living back here where I am, where I'm not exposed to people very much, other than on social media, of course, I am reminded constantly of how dumb the average Canadian is. It just blows my mind. It really does. Right now, we're in a provincial election in the province of Ontario. The Conservative Premier, Doug Ford, is called an election. And so now we have, it's pretty much between him and the leader of the provincial Liberal Party, Bonnie Crombie. One of the two will get the premiership, I guess, you know. Anyway, Doug Ford is absolutely horrible. He has been all along. He is just, well, he's corrupt. He's super corrupt. He's a douchebag. He really is. He's just a douchebag. But the thing is, they're all pretty much like that. I don't think Bonnie Crombie's any better. Now, Bonnie Crombie has promised to raise the Ontario Disability Support Program payments from just over $1,000 to just over $2,000. And there's a Facebook group that I belong to for people who receive provincial disability pensions. And on that page, they were talking about how excited they all are for this to happen. You know, because you can't currently survive on what you get on a disability pension. You really can't. Here's the thing, though. I had commented that for one thing, they lie. You can't believe them. And for another thing, anything they do, you know, is going to come back on you somehow. And so I just said, you know, look, I don't think my vote is even counted. I don't vote in elections. I said, I don't see any point to it. I said, and I don't really feel right endorsing any of these people because I believe they're all Luciferians. I believe that the vast majority of them have engaged in pedophilia and human sacrifice, and that they're involved in human trafficking and all kinds of other evils. Plus, most of them are globalists, and I do believe that globalism is a serious evil. I think globalism is right up there with Nazism. You know, I just absolutely hate globalism. Anyway, they're coming at me now saying, well, you're a disgrace, you don't vote, you have no right to complain if you don't vote, and on and on and on like that. Here's the thing. I don't think your vote is even counted. And like I said, even if it does, what are your choices? Just one really bad person or another really bad person? Now, as far as this raising the Ontario disability pension to up around, she's talking about around $2,300 from around $1,300 maximum that you could get. The thing of it is, what that actually is, and she's sneaking it in for the back door here, but what it is it's the universal income, universal basic income, UBI, which is a globalist thing. If the universal basic income comes in, there's going to be a condition on receiving it, which is going to be, did you accept the digital ID? They need us all to accept the digital ID so they can once and for all do away with cash. Once they've done away with cash, what they'll do is they'll bring in digital programmable currency. What that means is that the powers that be will have complete and total control over your money and where you spend it. So let's say they decide that you shouldn't eat meat. Well, then you're not going to be able to buy meat. Let's say they decide that you should be punished. You refuse to take the latest vaccine. You refuse to mask up in a public place or whatever. they can turn your money off, or they can devalue your money. The same if you're openly critical of them, if you question their narrative. Um, Again, they can turn your money off, or they can devalue it. They can make it so that if you have $50 in your account, that $50 in your case has $25 in spending power. Or they can make it that you just don't have any access to any money. And like I say, they can also tell you, you go into the store, say, and you want to buy a steak, and they can refuse the transaction. It can be declined because they can say, well, you bought a steak last week. You're only allowed one steak per month. You've had your steak already for this month. Come back next month and we'll sell you another steak. But you can't buy any more steaks in the month of February, or whatever. This is what they can do. And this is what they intend to do. And so they can also make it so that the money expires, so you can't save money. So it's just a temporary thing to exchange for goods and services until a certain date, at which time it's no more good. So you can't save money, so you can't get ahead. There are so many issues with this situation. And see what Bonnie Crombie is doing. And look, I don't like Doug Ford either. We've had several years of Doug Ford, and he is absolutely horrible. But the thing about Bonnie Crombie is she's a globalist. And now Doug Ford is too. They all are, pretty much. I mean, there's very few politicians who aren't globalists, especially in Canada. As Klaus Schwab said, we have penetrated the Canadian cabinet. That's what he said. Well, they have done. He's right. The World Economic Forum has done that. And it isn't just the federal cabinet, it's in all the provinces too, pretty much. It's very difficult to find a politician in Canada who isn't a globalist. That's one of the reasons we're in the big mess we're in here. Build back better means tearing down what's already been built. That's what we're witnessing. If I buy a lot with an old shack on it and I want to build a house there where the old shack is standing, I got to tear the shack down first. I can't put a house up on top of the shack. I got to tear it down. Same thing. They got to tear down what's already built here in order to, as they say, build back better. You notice, though, they don't specify whom better is for. People just assume it's better for us. No, it isn't. Because these same people have also said you own nothing and you will be happy. The digital programmable currency is part of that, anyway. The digital ID is necessary to bring the digital currency in, the programmable currency, and do away with cash. And so on. Now, I have people on there telling me, well, what's the difference? I had one woman just quote, just make a comment now and say, well, so what? Money is money. What difference does it make? Everybody's going digital anyway, so what difference does it make? And I told her, you said you will know what difference it makes when you try to buy something and you're told that you can't buy that because that's not on the list of things that you're approved to buy. Or because you've already had your allotment of that this week or this month. You know the difference when you try to buy something and you're informed that your money has been turned off because you didn't take the latest vaccine, or because you were openly critical of a bureaucrat, a policy, or a politician because you said something on Facebook or YouTube or whatever that the powers that be didn't like. I said, you'll know the difference then, but it will be too late. See, right now I'm living in a country that's almost exclusively populated by people that are willing to give up the farm for a sack of manure. Yeah, I'll sign. Oh, yeah, I'll sign. Just give me that sack of manure. I want to see the manure first, though, before I sign, because I'm a shrewd businessman. I want to actually know that the sack of manure you're promising me exists before I sign over the farm to you. And they think they're shrewd because this is what they're doing. It's like, yeah, you do realize what you're giving up and what you're going to get in return. You know, I mean, it's like some idiot signing up to donate both their kidneys for transplant. You know, I mean, you know what that means if you do that. Well, that's pretty much the way Canadians are anyway. And you wave some money in front of them, and of course people are desperate here because the cost of living is so high, and it's very difficult to make enough money to survive in this country. And so people are desperate, so you wave an additional $1,000 a month in front of them, and it seems like a good idea. The problem is, here's the problem with that. That additional $1,000 a month will eventually be absorbed anyway, because the cost of living will go up to reflect the fact that you have that additional $1,000 a month. And the thing is, like I say, in the end, you'll only be able to shop when they tell you to and where they tell you to. They'll have total control over your money. They can also make it so that your money won't operate outside of your district or your zone. Again, getting into smart cities and controlling people and corralling people into small areas. It could be that your money won't work when you go outside of a certain zone or a certain district that you've been assigned to. That'll make it harder for you to escape from that area. It'll make it a lot harder for you to escape. And so even if you manage to somehow get through the gates and you escape, you won't be able to buy anything because your money won't work outside, you know. And when the powers that be know that you've escaped, they'll turn your money off anyway, because you'll be now on the list to be punished for straying outside of your zone. You see, the same with electric cars. They can make it so that an electric car won't run. When you pass a certain point, your electric car will just shut down and it won't run, because you've now strayed outside of your authorized area. And also the car could be programmed, these self-driving electric cars can be programmed to only take you to places that the powers that be are authorizing you to go. So should we say, well, what's the difference between a self-driving electric car and an old-fashioned gasoline car you drive yourself? Why shouldn't we embrace that technology? What's the difference? Well, the difference is freedom. You're going to give up freedom to embrace that technology. You're going to be told by a bureaucrat or by a department of the government where you can live, what you can buy, what you can eat, where you can go, who you can associate with. I'm considered an enemy of the Canadian system. If you associate with me and you're on digital currency, your money will be cut off. If it's found out that you're friendly with me, your money will be cut off. That's no lie. That's the direction we're heading in with this stuff. As it stands, I won't be eligible. I won't have any money because I won't be allowed to have money when this new system comes in. And there's others like me too, although unfortunately there aren't enough of us in this country to turn the tide. There are, I think, more people who think like me, but very few of them are willing to take a risk by being disobedient or by openly saying that they don't want it, that it's wrong. And so here we are. And as it stands, there's a lot of people who just love the idea of everything being digital, and you get a chip in your hand and you wave that over a scanner in the store and it automatically deducts your points from your account or whatever, and are perfectly willing to give up the ability to openly speak their mind, who are willing to give up the ability to openly travel from place to place, to freely travel from one place to another. Right now, if I've got the gas in my truck, which I do right now actually, I can get in my truck and I can go anywhere where there's a road to take me there from here. As long as I've got the gas in my truck or the cash to buy more gas and the truck is running and everything, I can go wherever I want to go. There's no bureaucrat saying, nope, you can't go to Perth today, Tom, if you want to, or you can't go to Carlton Place, or you can't go to Ottawa, or you can't go to Toronto if that's where you choose to go, or whatever. There's no, there's none saying you can't go to Montreal, or you can't go to Vancouver for that matter, because we got roads in this country that you can drive from here to Vancouver if you want to. If you're eligible to cross the border, you can drive across the border into the United States. You can even drive down from there into Mexico. Now, I'm not allowed to cross borders because like I say, I'm on a list. The federal government actually has me on a list. So I'm not allowed to do that. But if I wasn't on that list, I would be. With an electric car, it'll be a different story with these electric cars, especially the self-driving ones. You won't even be allowed to drive across town to see your grandma if she lives outside your zone. If your grandma's house is a mile outside your zone, you're not going to be allowed to go there. That's the way it is. That's how it'll be. So yes, it is a big deal. These people, though, are so friggin' dumb. Like, it's if it weren't for the fact that everybody's going to be enslaved with them, I'm at the point where I would just say, great, you go ahead and you go be a slave and enjoy it. You like slavery so much, enjoy. Go be a slave. Go live in your 15-minute city with your digital currency. Go have Klaus Schwab decide what you're allowed to eat. And and you'll be given a bedtime, and the government will know if you went to bed at the right time because there'll be monitors in your house, and they'll know in your apartment. Basically, you have a little cubicle to live in, like a prison cell. The government will know if you went to bed when you were supposed to or not, and if you didn't adhere to your bedtime, well, then they'll just take a fine out of your account. They're doing this stuff in China right now. They already have 15-minute cities, and the people aren't allowed to leave their area. They already have social credit scores where if you don't act at exactly the way the powers that be say you should act, then you can't buy or sell. It's funny, where have we heard about people not being able to buy and sell before? Where have we heard that, I wonder? Yeah, God told us, didn't he? We've been warned. Of course, people these days don't believe in God. No, I don't believe in God because that would interfere with my sinning that I enjoy so much. That would interfere with me being able to go and do whatever I want to do, and there not be any there'd be no repercussions or whatever. That would do away with that. No, well, the thing is though, when they bring in all these restrictions, your ability to sin is going to be limited anyway. Like, look, right now, if they say to me, you can't travel more than 5 miles from where you are, for example, well, I mean, all my abilities to sin are going to have to be contained within the 5 miles. So, if you're somebody who likes to gamble at a casino, for example, we don't have a casino around here, so you're not gambling anymore. If you like to go and fuck a prostitute, guess what? I don't know, maybe we do have prostitutes around here, but if we do, I don't know about them. The nearest place I know where you can go get a prostitute would be Ottawa, where it's a sure thing that you could actually pay a woman to do those things with you. That's 50 miles away, so guess what? You want to bang a prostitute and you're here, you're shit out of luck. Now, if you want to drink or do dope, There's lots of alcohol and dope around here. You can get that within 5 miles of where I'm sitting right now, for sure. You can get that. Of course, you can get all the porn you want on the internet. You know, I mean, so that's available virtually everywhere now. Like I say, maybe you can fornicate if you're a guy that's able to get a woman interested in doing that with you. I mean, it's not like there are no women around here, so they don't. I mean, there aren't any that I know of that will sell themselves, but there are some that would have a go with you, I suppose, if you talk to them the right way and stuff. If you're smooth, then yeah, maybe. The thing of it is, and of course, there are men around here too, so if men are your thing, again, some of them are homosexuals. I suppose if you're gay and you're good at the art of seduction, you can sin that way. But the thing is, your opportunities to sin are still going to be very limited. So, I mean, people who say, well, God is a killjoy because he don't approve of sin, and therefore we don't want to believe in him, and we're going to pledge our allegiance to this system that tells us, yeah, go ahead and sin, fill your boots. The same system's going to confine you to within a 5-mile radius of your house. So whatever sins you like to engage in, you better move somewhere where you will be within 5 miles of that, whatever it is. Bottom line is this: it's not good. It's not in our best interest. It's globalism, and globalism is not in our best interest. Globalism is a small group of elites who hate us and who are afraid of us because we outnumber them, and because they consider us uncivilized brutes. They consider us wild beasts who need to be contained, and they're scared of us. And they probably should be, because if we ever all did rise up, we'd do an awful number on them. Because most of these people are weak. If they didn't have money behind them and security guards defending them and everything. I mean, can you imagine our Prime Minister here, Justin Trudeau, in a street fight? The only reason he don't get into any street fights in Canada is because he's constantly surrounded by armed RCMP officers, and they'll shoot you to death if they think you're posing any serious threat to the Prime Minister. That's the only reason. Now, he's told us we don't have a right to defend ourselves. Well, he's surrounded by RCMP guards, to protect him. We don't have a right to defend ourselves, though. If a criminal comes for us or for our property or for our family, we don't have a right to defend what's ours. We've been told. He's actually said that, the Prime Minister has. Now, anybody who's seen that weaselly little guy knows that he probably couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. And although he did get into a boxing match once before he was Prime Minister. I can't remember how that ended, though. I don't know if he won or the other guy won. I can't even remember who the other guy was now. But it was some sort of a boxing match that he got into, and I kind of vaguely remember that. But as far as getting into a street fight goes, though, he wouldn't survive. That's the bottom line. And so, yeah, people like him are afraid of people like me. Because, and I'm not bragging here or anything, and I actually lost far more fights than I ever won, and I'm not a guy who's going to go around initiating street fights. But I guarantee you, if I ever got into a street fight with Justin Trudeau, I'd probably kill him. And that's just a fact. And there's lots of guys far tougher and stronger and more capable than I am out there around. So, like I say, he's got good reason to be afraid of the peasants. Because, yes, he would be in danger if he didn't have his little posse of armed guards around him. And, like I say, and that's true for all of them. How long do you think Klaus Schwab would last if everything fell apart and the peasants rose up? You know, I mean, none of them Jagmeet Singh, any of them, you know, they wouldn't last 2 minutes. And they know it. And so the thing about it is, though, we're not as uncivilized as they think we are. Most of us just want to get by and live our lives and not be screwed around with all the time, and have a little hope that if we do what we need to do and we work hard and we apply ourselves, that we can be a little better off than we are now. That's all the average person wants. But see, these elites, they attribute their own personality characteristics, their own viciousness to us. And the thing is, any viciousness would be directed at them from us would actually come out of just sheer frustration at being treated the way we've been treated. But like I say, unfortunately, the average Canadian is afraid and is brainwashed. I think a lot of them have Stockholm syndrome, really. They've come to love their oppressors. And it's a sad thing. And then they're saying, well, what's the difference between digital currency and regular currency? Everybody's going digital. What's the difference? Well, you'll know the difference once it happens. You'll know then. And you won't like it, but it'll be too late. That's what I told that lady. Anyway, that's it. I don't see any viable alternatives. I mean, who are you going to vote for? And that's if your vote is even counted, which I doubt that it is. But even if it is, you know, which of these reprobates are you going to vote for? You know, doesn't even bear thinking about. Anyway, that's it for now. On a topic that doesn't bear thinking about, that I just spent half an hour talking about. All right. Before I go, let me get the old patented Rocky Cam out again here. The Camp Crazy Rocky Cam. There it is. There he is, fast asleep in his box there on his fish. He's pretty cute. He's a very cute little fella. He is. All right. Bye for now.